Oh, good evening and welcome to Be More Super Live with myself, Brian, your host. And we are live with a great guest from Superman and Lois is Yvonne Chapman. Yvonne, welcome to the show, my love.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Oh, I am so excited to have you on, not only to talk about Superman and Lois, but also your awesome short film, Dragon Fruit, which is going to be released next year. That we're going to talk about after we talk about this epic show that sadly is going to be ending very soon. So, if anyone watching wants to ask a question, please comment and we'll get it onto screen. But first of all, before we start talking about that, whereabouts are you calling in from around the
I'm
world?
calling in from Vancouver in Canada.
Do you know what? It's like everyone lives in Vancouver. Are you all like? Have you got like a coffee shop where you all just go to, or like a WhatsApp group? Because it just seems that all actors live in Vancouver. It's like the place to be.
Well, it's called Hollywood North. That's the nickname for it. So I feel like that's accurate.
Excellent. Well, I'm sure the weather is a lot better over there right now than it is in the UK. But not only
No.
have you been in Superman and Lois, you've been in Avatar, The Last Airbender, which was an awesome show, Kung Fu, Family Law. You've been in so many things. So let's talk first of all, Amanda McCoy, because I feel that season 4 literally has ramped up all the tense moments Superman and Lois has been building up to. So going into season 4, what was that like for you? I mean, Amanda is such a complex character. What was it about Amanda that really ticked all the boxes for you?
Oh gosh, I first of all, just to be part of something as iconic as Superman, I mean, I arguably I would think it's one of the most iconic pieces of DC IP that there is. So to be able to step into that world, especially knowing that it was the last season too, just to be able to get in there
Mm.
was a dream. And the entire team is phenomenal. I mean, we've seen it throughout the entire 4 seasons. The stories and the characters that they built are spectacular. And the thing about Amanda, what I really loved is I think she's one of the first characters that's introduced that has no fear of Lex.
Mm.
And that was a really interesting dynamic to see be played on screen. And that's what intrigued me the most about her when I first met her. I'm like, who is this person? Because on the first audition, we just had a snapshot of that dynamic. And the writing is so good. It's all there. It's very clear. But then there's a lot of mystery built into her as well. And that's what I really love about her.
And I can't believe we're ending this season because when you see characters like Amanda, you're right. There's so many things under wraps that you want to find out because she doesn't seem like an open book. She's a strong, cutthroat lady that definitely is not to be messed with because uh, you know a character originally. I mean, did you know much about her character before you joined the show? Because she's in the comic books as well.
She's in the comic books, but very briefly, for my research. So that's what I kind of love, though, is there was a lot to play with. There was a lot of leeway of what this character could be. So that was the interpretation, and that was up to the showrunners and the writers of how they wanted this piece of the puzzle to play. Um, so having said all that, what I saw from the sides is really what I got, and the sides being what the actor gets for the audition, just the 1 or 2 scenes that we got initially of Amanda and Lex. And then from there, it was really built out throughout the season.
I mean, how much of Amanda is you? Because when creating a character and getting into character, I mean, how much percentage wise is you, and how much is made up? Because I always wonder because how much do you sacrifice of yourself within this character?
Personally, for me, I really like playing characters that are so beyond me that I mean, I cannot do what Amanda does. Truthfully, and that's what I really like about her because I would say that there's very little of me really in Amanda. There's a lot of things that I think are very aspirational in Amanda, how strong she is, how she's not afraid of confrontation, how she's been able to successfully run a multi probably billion-dollar corporation of Luthor Corp at a very young age. relatively speaking. So in all of those aspects, I'm like, I've never been able to do much of that in my entire life. I'm not a confrontational person. I'm not, she's a lot stronger, I would say, than I am in those respects. So it's quite a departure actually for myself.
I mean, the great thing about this character of Amanda is that this is probably the first time in a Superman based show that Lex has actually had someone that stepped up to him. Because, if you go back to the original movies with Christopher Reeve, Lex is surrounded by that sort of stereotypical, woman that's ditzy and not, hasn't got two brain cells. But now it's great to see leading women that are actually stepping toe to toe to the stereotypical villain, and she's doing it well as well. I mean, it's not a spoiler. I mean, we've got one episode left, and I like it the fact that Amanda maybe turning a corner, maybe realizing actually she's made a massive mistake and she should have listened to Lois a long time ago. I mean, I just wanted to say hello to Julia. Julia's just commented on there. Julia's put, hi, Brian, Yvonne.
Hi,
Hello,
Julia.
Julia. If you've got any questions for Yvonne, please comment below. So obviously, when joining this show's been going on for three seasons before you joined. I mean, how exciting and nervous were you to actually step foot on the set? Because this is quite a close knitted family of cast and crew. So, how did your first day on set go, and how did it feel?
Oh, the first day on set was wonderful. And yes, it was nerve-wracking and exciting all at once because, I mean, truthfully though, it doesn't really matter if I'm stepping in from something right from the inception versus coming in on the fifth or whatever season it may be. It's always nerve-wracking because you're the new person in either situation. And you want to come in, you want to do the best job that you can, and you want to get along with everybody. And everybody from top down made me feel so welcomed. So welcomed. They are such a wonderful group of cast, of crew. A lot of them have been around since the first season. And, I've been saying this too, that sometimes the only thing you need to know about a set and how it's run is how long the people stick around for.
Mm.
That's really all you need to know because sets itself, you are on there for hours and hours a day, working in very close knit quarters. So you have to have a very healthy, very balanced, very welcoming environment for you to be able to do the work well. And they are so professional, so kind, and so warm. And I was just really happy to be on that set. It was great. Everybody was so wonderful to me.
And what a season to actually be in. Do you know what I mean? It's like literally the season that everyone's watching and dreading that it's going to finish because we don't want it to finish. I mean, have you got any inklings personally on why they stopped the series? Because we've all got the rumors, the conspiracies are out there. But do you feel there are reasons why it got cancelled? Is it money or was it something else? What's your personal takeaway from it being cancelled?
Well, from my understanding, I mean, this it's the end of a legacy for sure because on the CW network, the DC franchises, the whole Arrowverse has been around for so long. And in a way, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is quite poetic because I think it all started with Smallville. I
Mm.
think. And now it's
Yes.
ending with Superman. So
Yes.
such a great way to kind of go a whole 360, and it's the best send out I think anybody could hope for, is this finale coming up. Now, having said that, with the cancellation, I know that the CW got acquired, and they're just having a different mandate, which this doesn't fall into. So I think it's as simple as a business decision of going
Mm.
forward of what they want to pursue and what they want to make. Um, but you know what? It's a beautiful send off. So gosh, I'm really excited for everyone to see this finale. I can't believe it's coming up.
I mean,
Whew.
even though it's so upsetting that it's finishing, I'm glad that it's had time to be finished properly because there's so many shows out there that finish without you getting a proper ending. These
Yeah.
networks, they just go, yeah, we're going to cancel it. But then they don't realize there's millions and millions of fans out there literally left with no closure. It's like breaking up a relationship. and not getting closure on it. We need to find out how it ends. So then we see you. I've got a picture here of you. So Amanda's love interest. You certainly picked them. I've got to say, you certainly picked them. One, it's Lex Luthor, but the awesome Michael Cutlitz, which literally, I've got bromance with ever since I met him in person. He's a lovely guy. What is it like to work opposite him? And there are scenes recently. I think it was in the last episode where it becomes very scary, very intense. What is that like to be on the receiving end of that sort of acting? Because do you find it hard to stay in character, or does it actually help you?
Well, first, like, he's a dream for a fellow actor. He really is because he's so collaborative, he's so easy to get along with, and it's also a mind screw because he is the nicest man. He really is so Michael is a gem of a human being, so to see him go from that to terrifying as Lex was kinda like truly a testament to his talent, first and foremost. And then in acting against that, oh, it helps tremendously when an actor can just go there and then you're with them and then it's just playing off each other. So it was so much fun to be on set with him.
I mean, when he's that intense shouting at you though, I mean, does that sort of uh, put you off, or is that like literally it just drives you to perform better as your character? Because I would be absolutely having bricks in my backside. Do you know what I mean? It would scare the hell out of me because when he's screaming at you. I mean, what was that like?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. It really just drove me to like want to actually do it back to him, to scream back at him. And there are takes I think that weren't used in the final cut, but we were actually going at each other, like just yelling on top of each other, which was really fun. I mean, sometimes you got to shake that stuff out just to see where it lands appropriately for a scene. Uh, but it lit a fire for sure. And a lot of the times acting is reacting. So to be able
Mm,
to have that in front of me, to have that to react to is a gift.
mm. Definitely. And then with this show, this season, there's been a lot of directors. Um, I think the last one was directed by someone that I've spoken to on my show, Jay Jameson,
Mhm.
which is he's such a talented writer as well. And now he's a director. What's it like being directed by different people on this show? Because I think it's Gregory Smith that you've had, as well as Jameson. I mean, what sort of different things do they give you as a performer? Is it quite different to be directed on the same show by different directors, if you know what I mean? I'm just made that question completely useless to understand. I do apologize.
No, no, I completely understood what you mean. So on TV shows, and I'm not just talking about Superman, but in general, it's like we have the understanding of the character, and the directors and the cast also have an understanding of just the world in general. So we know the parameters and the basically the game book that we're playing in, of how to keep it within that universe and that world. Um, it's it's actually quite fun because I think when you get new directors coming in, they bring their own sensibilities to it, their own artistry, and then you get to play off of that. And it's an understanding, a collaboration always. But that's honestly what I love the most about acting is you have to have those collaborative efforts, and every single time a new person comes on set, they add a different flavor to it. They add a
Mm,
different perspective to it, and it teaches you something. For me personally as the actor, when somebody comes in and they can teach me something like maybe I didn't think of. But that's the beauty of having more than one brain on set is that you get to play off of each other's curiosities and perspectives on that.
have you had a chance to direct on any of your shows?
Not on the shows. I've shadow directed, so
Mm,
meaning like I've gone to set and very thankfully being able to work with and learn from the best on those shows. I've directed a couple shorts before. I would love to direct. I'm just at that point right now where I'm like, I just want to make sure that I know what I'm doing because I take that's a big responsibility. And
mm,
the director, you're directing and taking care of the entire set. So I want to be able to be a good caretaker for them.
So this season, you've had some great scenes with Michael Cutlitz and Bitsy, as well as the lovely gentleman that plays Milton. Have you got a favorite scene that you shot that you walked away from? You know, like sort of brushing your shoulders, saying to yourself, "Yeah, I did that." You know what I mean? Like really proud.
Gosh, there's, I think with all of them, it was so special. For example, the scenes with Bitsy and I just always fall in love with scenes where it's two powerhouse women
Mm,
being able to share the same space and having all of that in the scene really resonates with me as a woman. So I love taking that away from it. With Michael, I loved the interesting tension that you get between these two characters and the mystery behind that relationship. With Milton, he was just so fun. That was more the comedic aspect of it, and we always walked away laughing. In terms of personally being able to like brush my shoulder, I'm one of those actors who I would always second guess everything that I've done. So I don't know if I've ever actually had a moment where I could personally say for myself, I'm like, oh, that was good. But I will walk away and say, my God, Michael, Bitsy, and Nikolai were amazing in that scene. And I'm like, but gosh, what did I do? I don't know. So yeah,
well, take it from me and many viewers out there. You've done an amazing job. And
thank
talking
you.
about the finale, I mean, are we going to see you in the finale? Because apparently the rumors are that everyone's going to be in the finale that is still alive. You know, and without spoiling things, I mean, what have we got to look forward to? Because it is the last episode, and Lex has now got his suit. And you know, we don't want it to end, but on a scale of 1 to 10, what are we in for?
11, 12, 50, 100.
Oh,
You're in for a lot. And I would say that I think people are going to be deeply satisfied with this series finale. And honestly, I feel a little bit choked up even thinking about it because I think it was actually Nikolai who plays Milton was telling me that of this entire Arrowverse of DC shows on the CW, I think this is, don't quote me on this, but I think this is the 280 something episode and very last episode of anything that we're all going to see. And having said that, that's a really, really tall order to fill, and they did
mm,
it. They
mm.
did it. So
I mean,
I
this
will be in the
is.
final episode. Yeah,
Have you seen it? Have you actually watched it?
I haven't yet. I'm gonna
Oh
be with
no.
everybody watching the final one.
Do you know
Yeah.
what? I'm going to get my tissues ready because I cry at anything. This show has got me crying, laughing, shouting at the TV. You name it. It's been a great show. It really has. I mean, to say I'm a Superman fan is an understatement because I've got a daughter called Lois, and I've got a
Oh,
daughter called Cara, and a cat called Clark. But we're not going to go there.
amazing.
Um, but yeah, so with this show ended now, did you get a chance to take anything as a souvenir?
I did get my nameplate that they put on the back of the chairs, so I do have my name with my character's name. So that's what I got, but I didn't. You know, I never think to steal more from the set, and I really should.
I didn't say steal. I said borrowed. I said got a souvenir. You know what I mean? I didn't say like
Fair.
nick
I do
everything.
not think of taking more souvenirs, but I
Oh.
should.
Do you know? I wonder what's going to happen to them now because I know that Eric, who I had on the show, he got the wind chime, and Alex has got some menus from the cafe and stuff like that. And I wonder where everything else is because I'm sure there's a lot of fans out there would like a piece of this show that they've seen for many years. Are you doing anything special for the actual night that is going to be premiered? You know, the final finale.
Oh, I didn't even think about it because I don't even want to. It's so hard to even think that it's going to be the last one. Um, but for me, for it being special, I'm gonna stay at home and enjoy it and just take it in and finally see, what all the hard work was put
Mm,
towards. And look, I think we're all in for a ride. I remember when I first read the series finale, I cried. I cried
mm.
hard. It's a
Oh,
good one.
do you know what? Even how the last episode ended with Superman looking at Lois and giving that sort of reassurance smile, doing the proud husband dad. Oh, it broke my heart. Um, but I'm sure that we'll all be there watching. Maybe you could do a live watch party with some of the other
Oh,
cast if they're up for it. But yeah. So thank you so much for playing an amazing character in an amazing show. I can't wait for the finale. But not only that, Yvonne, not only that, last night I watched this wonderful short film called Dragon Fruit, which I'm a great lover of anything indie because I feel that for some reason, you know, low budget means more heart. A low budget means I don't know, it hasn't got the interference of studios. It's done, from the heart and soul. But do you know what? Before we talk about it, for the viewers, we're going to watch a bit of the trailer to give everyone an idea of what we are talking about.
It's like we talked about. Supply, demand, leverage.
Oh, so that is the trailer for Dragon Fruit. I want more. I've seen it and I want to watch more. So we're going to get onto that. So this is going to come out hopefully next year. So it's doing a bit of the festival circuit. If you could
yeah.
tell us a bit about the actual film in your own words.
Yeah, sure. So the film explores the mother, which is who I play, and her adopted son, and her struggle with trying to create a better life for them in a dystopian future. It's really an exploration of socioeconomics and the disparity of wealth and the extremes of that, and what people have to do in order to secure a basic livelihood for themselves. So it's a commentary on that.
I mean, how hard was it for shooting this film? Because there's not a lot of dialogue. And to get that emotion over, can be quite hard without dialogue because I think we've taken I suppose dialogue for granted. So watching something near enough silent, how hard is that?
Yeah, I think that's actually what appealed to me a lot about doing the film too, is because one of the greatest tools an actor does have is words.
Mm.
And to take away that tool, well, then that's a whole other challenge in itself, one that I was really interested in doing. Second is a face. And I'm wearing the mask quite a bit in the entire short. So for me, then I really had to rely on physicality and playing with the environment as a scene partner as opposed to just having a dialogue back and forth. So it was a different kind of storytelling, one that departed from what I'm used to doing. Um, it was, but you know what? I think Jay Brown, who is the wonderful director, producer, and writer of this film, he had such a clear vision, and everything that he had within this short in terms of the visualization, the costuming, the scenes, the interactions with everything, not just the environment, with
Mm.
the people, with even the props that we had on set, which were, by the way, all done by him. He made the outfits. He did everything, like you said, with indie filmmaking. His heart and soul was really into this short. Um, there's such an intentionality to all of that that it made the job not easy, but at the same time, um, very clear on what it should be. And that is a brilliant gift to give to an actor when that clarity is there, and then you can only deepen it from there.
Mm. I mean, I love this film. How like you've got the dragon fruit, and obviously we're not. The name is actually for the fruit itself, and I love how growing the fruit in this film, sort of symbolizes like hope and survival. What does this struggle mean to you personally within this film? How do you think that relates to the mother's journey?
Well, what I love about the concept and the theme of this film, it's such a universal one that I think a lot of people are actually feeling a lot of today. And in the struggle, whether or not you want to interpret it in any which way, I think that's a very human thing that we all go through in life of trying to find our way, trying to find the happiness and hope that we have every single day to make it further and further ahead. And what was interesting about this short and what I loved exploring in it is her relentless hope in a promise that if she were to do certain things, then X, Y, and Z would lead to this. And I don't want to give anything away, but it's in that journey that that starts to unravel, and she starts to realize that what the expectations and promises that were made to her are not necessarily what they appear. And I think that's something we can all really relate to.
Mm. In this film, there is halfway. I think it's about halfway through. The screen goes black, and I honestly thought that was it. And I got very like sort of no, no, and then it carried on. Thank goodness, because literally, I think I'd be writing stern emails to Jay Brown. Um, do we know if this is going to be a continuation of a story? Do you think that he's got another one lined up? Because honestly, I'm hook, line, and sinker invested within the mom and the child and what's going to happen and their journey. Is it going to be like a trilogy, or is he working on a series of these films?
Well, we've been in talks with that, and I think he's been working on a concept first for the future idea of this film, which would go so much deeper into the world of the
Mm,
characters and the world in general that they're playing in. I would love to see that happen. I think that it's kind of the typical trajectory is you make the short and it's almost like the proof of concept for something in the universe that's quite large.
mm.
So I'm really hoping that this is a launching point for him to be able to do that because he's a fantastic storyteller.
And I think this film is I think all films tell a story and makes us question our sort of morality a lot of the times. I mean, what message do you hope that this will give audiences? Because I mean, personally, what do you feel the message is, and what would you hope audiences to take away from it?
I mean, one thing that I've always interjected into this character was expectations, and that is something that I personally have always struggled with on a societal level is the expectations that are placed on us on what a good life looks like, on how we should be, on what we should be going after. And I always question why do those expectations matter and who put those on us? And I hope that this film would help people to question certain expectations and societal standards and maybe to look a little bit deeper on
Mm.
what's actually there.
Excellent. And this film comes out obviously next year. I've been told people can actually follow this account on Instagram to get any updates, which I recommend everyone doing because it is a great film. Before we bid farewell, I've got a question here for you from Julia. Is there a role that you would love most to do? And I don't know if that's
Oh,
sort of that general type of role. I mean, you've already spoken that you like to play a strong female lead, but is there a type of role out there that you'd love? I mean, do you like musicals? I mean, Wicked is like literally taking over the world right now.
yeah, which I still have to go see.
Yeah,
Admittedly, I
me too.
haven't been able to see it yet, but I've heard amazing things. The type of role that I personally would like to play, I will never get sick of playing powerful woman ever. I would love to do some more comedy.
Excellent.
I played very serious, very like, and I think I would like a good laugh for myself. So,
And then personally for me, obviously working on Superman and Lois, um, what were the cast like? I mean, any background secrets that you can give to us as like a bid farewell to the show that we might be shocked to hear about. I mean, any hidden talents that people have got, or any times that you can share, between the shoots that will always stay with you.
oh my goodness. I mean, there's so many moments that will stay with me. In terms of anything that will surprise anybody, I don't think so. I think they show who they are outwardly. I mean, they're all just fun-loving people.
Mhm.
Um, Oh, I mean, like, it's just I would say that the one thing that I always love seeing is, people's quirks with food, because on set, we're very well fed, which is great, and then we have what we call craft services, which is somewhere that you can go and get all your snacks. Um, I always love seeing what people's taste levels are, and Bitsy is an incredible shape, and she is absolutely beautiful, and I was always so stunned to see the sugar that she liked to eat. And I know that she has a bag of like she's holding up a bag of candy, I think on Instagram somewhere. So that's very true. And I love seeing that. Like a woman who can eat is a woman to my heart. So
Oh, do you know what? The last time I saw Bitsy in person, she was heavily pregnant, and she kept on running to the bathroom. So we had to wait for her, but we forgave her because I know what pregnant women are like. But no, Yvonne, thank you so much for coming onto the show. What is next for you? What can we see you in after this? Or is it a case of putting your feet up and enjoying the aftermath of Superman and Lois?
oh gosh. Well, bit of both. I am gonna enjoy this time from the holidays just to take it all in and let it settle that this is going to be the last episode of Superman and Lois, which I think we're all very sad about. But like I
Mhm.
said, it's a great send off. Outside of that, I will be returning to Avatar next year for season 2, so I'll be filming that next year.
Oh yeah, it's a picture of you
Um,
and Avatar there. Look at that.
you
See,
got that cute up.
see,
Wow,
I am prepared. I love that show. Do you
you're
know what?
so
I'm not.
prepared.
You know what? I'm one of these people that don't judge. You know, with a franchise like this, you can get passionate fans. I'm going to call them passionate, because if they feel that something isn't done to their justice, they sort of are very vocal on it. I think the show is beautifully shot, beautifully written, and the actors are absolutely stunning. And for me, I love it. I really like it. So it's really nice that you're going back to the show.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. Oh my gosh, to step into the Kyoshi makeup and the wardrobe and everything again. I absolutely love her as a character. I really do. So to be able to play her again, I'm absolutely thrilled. So that's what's next for me in the early year of
Wow.
2025.
Excellent. Well, Yvonne, thank you so much. Don't go anywhere. We're going to say goodbye properly in a moment. But if you want to follow Yvonne on Instagram and all the socials, look on the description of the video. But thank you so much. And we'll be back next week. Yvonne, thank you. Keep safe.
Thank you guys. Thank you.